Hey team, let's have a looky-loo. This is I'm calling it phase 4. Like I'm kind of confused. I confuse myself because it's like Fire Circle phase 2, but it's kind of really your phase 4. And anybody that would come into this has already done the 2 phases of the comeback code, so that's why it's phase 4. You'll notice too that we're still in the reignite phase. I don't know if you remember, but way back when we first all met, there were actually 3 components that I think of when I look at the long term, like where we want to get to kind of thing. So it's reignite is the first one, which means get us moving, just moving, get us into a rhythm, but also get us moving with quality and efficiency, not compensating. And working on these foundational things. What will come after phase 6 will be moving into the rebuild phase, which is really kind of when we'll start more lifting heavy shit. We're progressing there over these next couple phases. I think it's I'm trying to think if it's phase 5 or 6 is going to be actually quite different. I've done these in a 3-month block so that I can see, okay, here's where we want to get to, and then build the plan, the whole plan. So, and then the final phase is the rise phase, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. But just so you know, like, it isn't just always going to be like breathing and reaching, and I mean that'll always be a piece of it, and that'll come back again. We talked about values being touchstones. Relative motions is always going to be a touchstone of this program, but we will also get more into like, okay, yeah, this is sort of what I picture. Okay, so some things will always be carryover because I also just don't want to throw all sorts of new stuff. So carryover, this is new and it's really fun, and it's like your brain will be like, well, what do I do? Like, so, and just go easy. It's not a race. Like, it's just kind of like a walking tempo, so it's just like here, so just easy. Like, it's not meant to be aerobics class or whatever. Bent over row for 12 reps. And it's okay if you feel this a little bit on your spinal erectors on either side of your spine. That's okay. That's part of the reason I'm doing it that way, is to give those some stamina, but it shouldn't be sore. Like, it shouldn't hurt. Like, maybe by the end of the set, it's like, oh, it's a little bit burning like fatigue, but then once you stand up, like within 15 seconds, it's fine again. Just make sure you get that nice neutral back position. You don't have to be like flat to the ground, but just here, comfortable. Biceps curls, little 2-second pause at the top. Segmental curl up. Now, I know there are a couple of you that have scoliosis, and I'm not sure that this is right for you. So would you check with your physical therapist before you do it? Everybody else, do it the way I show in the video, with a resistance band for assistance or something for assistance. I don't want you just, cranking them off, because to do it like this, the way I want you to do it, is very, very hard. So if you don't have that assistance, you're not going to be able to go segment by segment. You're going to just like come up, like get this off, and then lock everything else in and pull yourself up with your hip flexors, which I don't want. Also, your feet cannot be under anything. There can't be something holding your feet down. So use the assistance. Like, use a rope if you have to, but any of these, if it's like, hey, I don't have a setup to do that, or I'm not sure how I would do that with my space or my equipment, that is a question for Maria. Please do not freestyle and just make up your own something. Okay. I'll also remind you that the first week of every phase is a learning week. We don't do an easy week in between phases. Our first week of the next phase is our easy week. So that would mean you'll take 1 set off what you normally do. If you've normally been doing 3 sets where it says 2 to 3, this week you'll do 2. If you are normally doing 2, it means you'll do 1. And that's not just if you feel like it. That's this is how it's put together. and how we give you a little bit of chance to recover and recuperate and really focus on the technique and then build. So it's not a nice to you thing. It's a, this is how I'd like you to do it, please. 4-way low amplitude hop. Again, I know a couple of you have really cranky knees, and any sort of hopping is going to be a disaster. So hop into the questions for Maria Thread, and I'll give you something else to do instead for that one. Split squat, 8 reps. We're coming back to some exercises with the expectation that you'll be able to add a little more load. And how do you know how? So start lighter than you think. We can always add more load. If you go too heavy and do something to yourself, we can't just be like, oh, okay, we'll go lighter, and that didn't happen. But let's say you're doing 8 reps on each side, and you feel like, I could probably get 2 more reps. Then it's time to increase the load by the next, whatever the next increment is. This is a little kickstand, stiff-legged deadlift. Calf raise, low amplitude hops again, and then we're going to finish with that posterior expansion. I love that one. Your little relative motions warm up again. So still following this idea. We create space, we use the space, we come back and just reset. Dumbbell or machine knee extension. The dumbbell knee extension feels very awkward. I'm not going to lie, but I like it. and I think some of us need that extra work on our quads, that isolation type work on our quads. So that's why it's in there. If it's giving you knee trouble or anything, you let me know. We all have different bodies. Eccentric hamstrings on the floor. You need to find a smooth surface somewhere in your house. Split squat drop. This is just to be like a ninja. And you reset each rep. You just step back up each set. You're not gonna jump, back up and down. It's not a jump. Like, it's just like you're here, boom, like a ninja. And then you just step back up. Dumbbell floor press. Again, let's add load here. This is a sort of a hypertrophy rep range. We're trying to add a little bit of lean tissue, so that our strength is directly related to our cross-sectional area of muscle. Muscle also is more metabolically active, so it helps us build more calories. But we also need to be getting our protein to have the building blocks for us to build some more muscle. Triceps kick back with a plus. Again, an isolation exercise. We're trying to get a little bit of hypertrophy here. Standing oblique crunch. I just love this exercise. Don't get carried away with the range of motion. It's not like, oh, more is better. It's just like, yeah, just go to what you can go to. Please watch the video and only hold one dumbbell in one hand. Don't hold a dumbbell in each hand, because actually then you're not really doing any work. They're just counterweights for one another. So make sure you're just holding one dumbbell. And posterior expansion again. For a daily mobility primer, it's a hip capsule stretch, side bend and breathe. So when we side bend, and then we're really going to breathe into this side, like the side that we're up on. We're going to breathe into that side of our rib cage. Lat stretch breathing again. Feel that rib cage expand to the sides, expand to the back. 90-90 hip stretch. This is a bit of a new one. If it's a little sore on the knee that is behind, so if it feels like a little bit too much pressure on the medial knee here when you're in this position, or more particularly when you're in this position, put a little yoga block or a cushion under this knee. It will take away from the hip internal rotation, but it just tells me that, like, this is too much. Like, you don't have enough hip internal rotation. It's straining that knee. So bring that up, and then you'll side bend over it, just to what's comfortable. And it might be that you like, oh, I feel that mostly in my medial knee. That's okay. Then use that as your guide. And it should just be like a medium tension, not hard. I'm not going to force it. Then you're going to sit cross-legged for 1 to 5 minutes. Honestly, Start with like 1 or 2 minutes, because you can be really stiff after just 5 minutes. 5 minutes isn't better than 1 minute. Just 1 to 2 minutes. Feel good with it. Okay, that feels easy. And really, like, when you get up, you might at first be like, oh, for like 3 steps, and then you're like, oh, that's okay. But let's not let it be any more than that. So start easy, build from there. We can always do more. If we do too much and then dink ourselves, we can't just be like, oopsie, and like, okay, reset. It's like, okay, well, now, not for myself. The schedule is exactly the same. Yeah, that's all I have to say about the schedule is the same. Yeah. Category 2, 20 to 40 minutes. If you're training for something or you're a stamina animal, 20 to 60 minutes is fine. I purposely did not put 20 to 60 minutes because I know some of you will see that and be like, oh my God, Maria wants me to do 60 minutes. Now I have to do 60 minutes because you always have to do what's the hardest, right? I know I'm right. But 20 to 40 is awesome. If you're like, oh, but I like to do my long run on Saturday, whatever, 60 minutes is fine. As long as you're healthy. Your body's feeling good. If you're doing 60 minutes and then in your comments you're like, man, I'm feeling so crushed and I'm not recovering well, blah, 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 then it's like, okay, that's probably too much. It's like we talked about. You have a capacity and then you have a recovery. And if the volume of your work is exceeding your capacity to recover, then we're on a downhill trajectory, which we don't want. We have to find where our volume is matching or is slightly less than our capacity to recover. That's how we get adaptation and improvement without just grinding ourselves down. Sprint intervals. We're going to go back to our 10 and 50. I think this is going to be actually really fun because now you're going to be able to feel like, man, I feel I can hammer that 10 seconds. And I can feel the power in my legs and in my body and go. But we're going to do 15. That's all. But yeah, that's gonna feel pretty easy for you guys, I think, at this stage. Or fun. It's going to be a good challenge, but it'll be fun. And I think you'll get pretty good recovery in this 50 seconds too. Remember, it's going to be very, very easy. Like, just like slow pace. This is 20-second sprint with 40 seconds easy. This is incomplete recovery. This is going to be hard. It's going to feel like kind of a 9 out of 10, a 9 to 10 out of 10 by the end of the work interval. Okay, so even like maybe the first one's going to be like, oh, that was hard. The second one is going to be harder. The third one's going to be like, wow, that was really, really hard. So you're going to do 5 repetitions of 20 seconds on, followed by 40 seconds easy. So again, starting a new interval on this every 60 seconds. But by the end of the rest interval, you should try to be down to like a 5 or 6. But it's going to get harder as you get to the 5. And then you're going to go very, very easy for 3 minutes. Then you're going to do another 5 of 20 sprint, 40 easy. So it's going to be hard. It's going to be a hard one. And I know some of you are having trouble finding like equipment or how to do your sprint intervals. Don't worry about it. If you can't, I don't want you to hurt yourself or do something. If you're just like, hey, I can't do that. I can't, like, I don't have a friend that has a stationary bike in there that they can, that I can borrow or whatever, then just leave out the sprint intervals and do your category 2s. And that's okay. It's not the end of the world. Okay. Homies, that is it for phase 4. I'm pretty excited to be starting. Man, that last phase went so fast. As always, I'm here to help. Drop a question in the questions for Maria thread. Let me know what you're struggling with, what you're stuck on, what doesn't feel right, and we'll figure it out together. Okay. I love you guys. Let's go, babies.